Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am here to film my April budget setup video. I am super pumped and excited because it is a new month, which means a new budget, new categories, and new cash in my cash envelope. So all in all, I am always excited for the beginning of the month because, as you guys know, I like to budget my income on a monthly basis, and thankfully, I get to do that because I have my own shop and my shop pays me once a month. So I am able to allocate all of my income for the whole month, see where it is going to go for my bills, cash envelopes, and all of that good stuff. So I think without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. If this is your first time watching any one of my videos, welcome to my channel. My name is Romina and I am 25 years old. I don't really introduce myself in any of my videos, which I think I need to start doing a little bit more often, but I am, like I mentioned, 25 years old. I have my own small business and I, for the most part, budget for myself. So all of the income that I'm budgeting here on my channel is only my own. Although I do live with my boyfriend, we do end up, splitting bills, both pay for the rent, groceries, and all that good stuff. Now that I've given myself a little bit of an introduction, let's go ahead and get started. I am using here, as always, my Plum Paper monthly planner. Like I mentioned, the past couple of months, we're almost done with this planner. I started this in the month of July, so I have up until June here. I will, for the most part, be setting up these other pages pretty soon. So like my monthly note page here, as well as the page right next to that, and the monthly view will all get filled out by the end of this week. After I set up my monthly budget, I like to set up my sinking fund spread and stuff my sinking funds cash envelopes, and then I'll go ahead and stuff my main cash envelopes for the month, which are the ones that I weekly check in for. So if this does not make any sense to you, definitely stay tuned for the next couple of videos that should go up in the next couple of days. I typically set up my budget spread right after the monthly view, which is where I track all of my expenses. So on the right side of that, for my budget spread, I decided to go with my floral washi kit here, as well as the correlating budget spread. And I do personally use the one that separates your expenses by variable and fixed. I also just have, if you don't want to separate your expenses, I have another budget kit available in my shop, once again, Romina Rosa, that is just a long strip for all of your bills and expenses. So I'm going to go ahead and get started by taking some of this washi, and I typically like to white all of this up here. As you guys can tell, I don't know what it is about the budget kit and the washi that I pick, but I always like to somewhat match my nails to the budget kit. So since April has this purple colorway, I decided to go with some purple nails this time around, which if you guys are interested in checking out the nail vlog for these nails, go ahead and do so. I believe it should be up by now by the time you guys are watching this video, but I'm going to first set up the income section. So aside from my main source of income, which is my shop, so I'm going to write that up here, Romina Rosa. I also have variable sources of income, and I will just go ahead and put variable, those being small sources like YouTube, Patreon, affiliate links, any of that good stuff. That's what I'll put in the variable section. And for the most part, those are my two main income types that I like to track in my budget. Sometimes I'll have something extra, like, let's say, like selling clothes, or I know for a lot of you guys got your stimulus checks. I actually didn't end up getting one. But typically for like selling clothes and all of that, I'll still put it in my variable income spread, and you'll go ahead and see it once I stuff my cash envelopes. But I just went ahead and separated that with some washi, and I'm gonna move on to my variable expenses. So variable expenses will be anything that can vary between the month. So it's not a set amount like my rent, my car payment, but more so being like my cash envelope. So I have been trying to definitely decrease my grocery spending, and I think I've been doing really good. So you guys are going to be happy to see some of the amounts that I've decreased, some of my cash envelopes, as well as I have 2 new categories for this month that I wouldn't typically have, but that are very, very necessary. And I want to talk to you guys about that. So let me go ahead and start with my cash envelopes first. First cash envelope would be groceries. Definitely the most important one, I would say. My budget for groceries is going to be less than last month because, like I mentioned, I'm trying to decrease that. So I'm going to be budgeting $250 for groceries. I am really trying to decrease this amount because, as I've mentioned, both me and my boyfriend pay for groceries. So if I am spending $250, he's spending around like $200 as well. And I just think that is way too much for us to be spending. I will say that he doesn't strictly like track all of his expenses, so he'll sometimes combine like groceries and household expenses. So I definitely have started telling him to be a little bit more strict with splitting his purchases instead of just combining them together, so then that way we have a more accurate idea of how much we are spending. So that's kind of what we have to work on for this month, but I think $250 should be good, especially because last month I did a little bit lower than this. So stay tuned for my budget results video if you guys want to see how I did in the month of March. Now the next cash envelope that I have is household, which is one that has definitely came in handy since I moved in to our new apartment. This one always gets $100. I was thinking that I could maybe lower this month, but I do think that we'll be able to get some household items. And since we do have a Costco membership, we for the most part like to buy things in bulk, like paper towels, toilet paper. Let's go ahead and see how I do for this month, and if I do really well, I might just end up decreasing it, but for now $100 works for me. Now next I have eating out, and eating out got $115 last month, and I think this month I'm going to go ahead and increase that by $5. I was doing $100 for like just regular eating out, and then the extra $15 last month was for tips, but I've decided to increase my tips to $20. And this is obviously not all the tips that, let's say, me and Paul give when we both go out to eat. Most of the time I'll just pitch in a little bit, so don't think that I'm only tipping like $15 for all the food that I eat all month long, because that is definitely not the case. So I am budgeting $120 for eating out. Then we have allowance, which for allowance I've always given myself $100, and that honestly seems to work out. I sometimes don't end up spending all of my allowance money, and when that happens, I'll just go ahead and roll it over to an allowance sinking fund cash envelope that I have, where I just basically stack my rollover allowance money. So I think $100 is good. I also do have like separate categories for like clothing, entertainment, and even like date night in my sinking fund. So I don't think that I need all that much money for allowance, honestly. And this way I try to limit my spending. So 100 is perfectly fine with me. Then the next cash envelope would be beauty. Now for beauty, I've been doing around $225 every month, but I've decided to decrease my budgeted amount for this to $200, just because in the past couple of months, I have not been spending that much for that category, and I've been having a lot of money to roll over. So since I do have some money rolling over from the prior month, I just decided to bring it down to $200, and I think that should be fine. And maybe I'll even be able to keep it at $200 for the rest of the year. We'll go ahead and see. That is the plan for sure. Then I have my last cash envelope, which is gas, and this one is going to be getting $60 since gas prices are going up and I'm starting to drive a little bit more. I'm going to definitely need the $60 for this month, especially because I'm going to be going on 2 trips this month. I'm going to be going to Catalina Island and Palm Springs at the end of April. So I'm hoping to be able to pump once this month, and then the rest of the money give to whoever is driving me to Palm Springs, because I'm actually not going to be driving. And I mentioned this in my last budget video as well, but the trip ended up being canceled and rescheduled for this month, if you guys are wondering. If you guys are probably like thinking like, didn't you have a trip last month? It got canceled. So that is going to be for gas this month. Then I have categories like my phone bill. For the past 2 months, it has been under $102. So that is the budget amount that I'll be writing for this month for that. Then we have my internet bill, which I am budgeting $70 for. And then 2 new categories that I'm adding for this month are going to be one for a haircut. I have not had a haircut, like an actual professionally done haircut, since before the pandemic. So my hair has so many split ends and it's dying for a trim. So I've been talking to my sister, and I think she told me that haircuts, because I haven't had a haircut in a while, so I don't even know how much they are now. She was telling me like around like $60 she thinks. So that's the budget amount that I'm going to be doing for a haircut this month. If it's more, you guys will go ahead and see that in the actual section during my budget results video for this month. But I definitely wanted to include it in this budget because I've been in need of a haircut. So that's going to be for this month. And then my last category, which is a completely different category that I don't think I've ever had, because I haven't had a gym membership in like years, but I am getting a gym membership. Both Paul and I are going to be getting gym memberships, and we're going to go to this gym really close to our place that my friend Natalie actually told me about, because she lives close to me, somewhat close to me now too, that she moved out. But I'm so excited. I know that I've been tracking all of like my meals and small at-home workouts in my Weight Watchers app, but I've decided to take things more seriously and actually focus on getting toned and losing that extra weight. So I think that a gym membership is definitely going to benefit me in the long run, especially with just how I feel about myself and all of that. So I'm getting a gym membership, and I already looked it up online. We're actually going to be going to the gym tomorrow, which tomorrow would be the 1st in real time. But I already kind of calculated how much it's going to be. I think the monthly fee is around $22.99, and I have to pay like an initial like registration fee, and I think altogether it should be around $55, maybe a little bit less than that. So that's what I'm going to be budgeting for. They might end up asking me to pay for like an annual fee, I believe so. So we will go ahead and see how much it is at the end of this month, but I'm only budgeting $55 for that gym membership, which, like I mentioned, $22.99 does not seem like a lot, especially because I feel like I want to be very dedicated to going to the gym and staying fit and just feeling all around good about myself. So don't feel bad if you want to, add something in your budget that's going to benefit your life and your well-being. And honestly, having a gym membership is probably going to be doing that for me. So I'm really happy to start my fitness journey, I guess, and I'll definitely keep you guys updated on my channel about that. But that is the last main category in my variable expenses side. And now I'm going to go ahead and write my last one, which is basically just a placeholder, and it is for any unbudgeted expenses. I don't budget anything for this, but I do have that in here just in case something comes up throughout the month, which something actually came up last month. So definitely a category that you need in your budget. And now I'm going to lay down my fixed expenses side sticker. Now for my fixed expenses side, these are going to be fixed amounts. So bills like my rent, which my part of the rent is $800. And that is what I give every month. Then I have car payment. And these are for the most part all the same as always. So a little bit repetitive here, 348 with 6 cents. Then let's go ahead and put car insurance, which is 200. Then I have my renter's insurance, which I definitely suggest that you get if you're renting a place like myself. And I paid $10.83 a month. And I have my subscriptions category, which just has the Spotify family plan that I am in with my sister and iCloud storage. So that is only $6.99. I have my student loans, minimum payment, which is $130.77. I have a giving category, which I do $150 every month for. My sinking funds, which, like I mentioned, I will be filming that video or getting that video up the day after this one. And I'm doing a little bit more this month because I have, like I mentioned, 2 trips that I'm going to, as well as I'm planning to go on another trip in the month of June for Paul's birthday. So I definitely want to make sure I'm booked that this month. And so I'm doing $850 for sinking funds this month. And then I always like to have a section for any extra debt payments, which my debt snowball is changing just a little bit. So I was hoping to have my update video about my debt snowball before this one, but I haven't been able to film that. But definitely stay tuned because I have kind of changed my debt snowball goals, I want to say. It's kind of difficult to try to explain right now in my budget video, but like I mentioned, definitely stay tuned. But those are both my fixed and variable expenses all done. Those are all the expenses that I have to account for this month. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and total up my fixed expenses just because I don't know my extra debt payment. Usually I'll know that by the end of the month, but I will go ahead and add up my variable expenses, which I already did off camera here. And the total for these is going to be $1,117. And then I like to have a section under this that has my totals. So totals, total amount of income coming in, total budgeted and actual amounts for my variable and fixed expenses. And at the end of the month, I will go ahead and subtract all of my expenses from my actual income, and whichever number I have left over will be what will go towards my savings, because another one of my goals, aside from paying off my student loans, was to build my emergency fund. So I'm still currently working on the emergency fund for the most part, but there might be some changes with my debt snowball, like I mentioned. And now I'm just going to lay down some deco pieces here and there that are also included in my budget kit. But for the most part, I am basically done with this spread. Thank you so much for joining me on today's video. Definitely stay tuned for the next couple of budgeting videos, which will be cash envelope stuffings. I know a lot of you guys love those videos, as do I. Here is the full view of my budget spread, just in case you guys want to take a look at it in depth or screenshot it. Make sure to do that. If you guys enjoyed this video, as always, do not forget to give this video a huge thumbs up, as well as subscribe to my channel if you guys are not subscribed already, and hopefully I will get to see you guys on tomorrow's video. Bye guys.